the Warcom JAG, saying we're thinking about charging him, for having done this interview. And I said, really? Okay, what do you think he did wrong? Well, he didn't get approval. He's talked about, no. Okay. Why don't you pull out the Warcom public affairs instruction? We'll read it together. What paragraph are you looking at? No. You pull up the instruction. I'll wait. Well, it's not really in. Yeah, exactly. It's not in there. So you're threatening him for violating a instruction that you didn't even read before calling me up and threatening that you're going to charge him with. I read it first. I know what he was allowed to say, and I set up the interview so that he could talk about the things that he was allowed to talk about, and so he wouldn't talk about the things he wasn't. So take your threat and go fuck yourself. That happened. And that's what happens frequently, but people maybe aren't able to push back at the introductory stage like I was, and so they'll call Pete Scobell and threaten him. They'll, somebody may be dumb enough to try and, threaten Matt here. They'll send threats to Chris Fettis. Tom Satterley. You called me up about him, that somebody, was telling him he should try and take down the interview from 3 years ago, talking about what he did in Mogadishu back in the 90s.
It's classified, Tim.
No, it's people that are just trying to control, and they don't even know what the rules are themselves.
I don't think there's more to cover, is there, with me and you right now? Is there anything else we need to cover? Then what I want to ask you is, because it's my fucking podcast that is getting everybody in trouble. So it's my fucking podcast. So, and all these guys watch my podcast. And so, what I want to ask is, for anybody who's wanting to tell their story or share their experience or document history or get their business off the ground or whatever their motivation is for coming out and sharing their story, when these fucking assholes come after them, whether that's their, former colleagues or, the head shade of the command, what steps should they take? For the next guy that comes on my show and gets harassed by some other fucking admiral or general or whoever, what steps do they need to take?
I wish I had a better answer than this, but the reality is that the best answer is to get a lawyer who knows the system and push back. No. And, now you're giving me an idea that you and I should sit down.
This could have been a better advertisement for yourself, Tim. I'm
not here to promote my business. I'm not here to promote my business. I'm here to help out a friend and a client. But you know what? You're giving me an idea. Why don't you and I sit down, later and pull all the public affairs instructions and all the rules from the various services, and we can put together a little bit of a guide. It's something that, I had actually suggested to Walt Allman as an idea of, people need guidance. If they don't know the law or the rules, they need to be trained on it. But you know what? Just simply, what they did in the wake of Matt's, first book, where they just started, going out with the whole, we are supposed to be quiet professionals. I do not advertise the nature of our work. That's bullshit. Okay. It doesn't help anybody. You need to give specific, actionable guidance. This is what the law is. The law says you're allowed to talk about these things. The law says don't talk about this. Okay, so maybe you and I should sit down and I'll create a little guide on this, because if the commands are not going to properly train their people on it, and the reality is so many of these guys are out. They've been out for 10, 15 years, and so they're not going to Warcom is not going to be sending a training PowerPoint to Pete Scobell at this point. But maybe it's something that we should do, and to educate people, because the reality is these stories are important. They're important not only for everybody who watches this and listens to this, but they're important for the people telling the stories, because it's therapeutic for them. And then it's also therapeutic to other veterans who listen to this and watch this, and they see their own story reflected there.
And it's probably the biggest recruiting tool in the fucking country.
True.
To come on this show.
True.
And talk about all the badass shit you did.
True. So, so the answer is I need to do some homework for you, Sean, and I'll write something up.
Well, I appreciate you, Tim. It's always good to see you.
You too. You too. Do I get gummy bears here?
I'll definitely. We will load you up.
I was going to say.
Don't look like you're eating any of the gummy bears lately, though, Tim.
No, it's for my wife. My wife gets mad at me if I don't come back with gummy bears.
We will load you up. We got some other stuff, too. So, but thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you.
Want to stay up to date on all things SRS? You bet your ass you do. Our newsletter brings you the latest SRS news and critical updates. Get instant alerts on the newest episodes. Never miss a beat. Exclusive intel briefs from counterterrorism expert Sarah Adams. You've seen her many times on the show. She's going to give unfiltered insights on global terrorist activity. For Patreon exclusives, you're going to get epic range days with me and damn near every guest that's come in the studio. You're also going to get behind-the-scenes content and guest updates. You're going to get first dibs on new merch drops and limited edition items that will never be sold again. Plus, exclusive offers from our partners you won't find anywhere else. So subscribe to the Vigilance Elite newsletter right now. All right, Matt, we're back from the break. Just got done chatting with Tim.
But I got to interject here. He said, what the SEAL community does very maliciously is they try and go after your SEAL trident after you've served and you're now out. They did that to me too.
They did.
Of course, I'd been out 5 years, and they came back and were like, "Hey, as part of this, we want to take your trident." And my lawyer represented me at the time. He's like, I don't even think they can do that. You're out of the Navy. How do they retroactively go back and take away a warfare insignia that you earned and you got out of the Navy with? He's like, that's not even legal.
You still have it, right?
Yeah. Well,
you still have it?
Yeah. I don't care. But the in the Navy paperwork, do I have my SEAL trident? Yes. Did they try and take it away retroactively to be spiteful and little bitches? Absolutely.
So they just literally just spew out whatever bullshit they feel like, whether they have any legal recourse or not, to try to fucking scare you, piss you off, ruin your day. Whatever. They'll just spew it all out there.
It's the SEAL mindset. Win at all costs, right? And if it doesn't, crush the other guy.
Fucking A, man.
So yeah, it's been my life's biggest struggle for sure, right? Getting into buds, making it in the SEALs is one thing. I thought that was hard. Getting out, kicked my ass. Not the getting out part, because I was ready to get out. I was cooked. I was done. But what came after getting out was single-handedly my biggest challenge. And again, I would talk about faith. I was in my lowest when I got out and didn't have community, didn't understand why I was being put through everything I was being put through. And that's where I was furthest from my faith. As I've got through this experience, it's really reminded me that, hey, there is a reason behind this. I may not understand it. I may not know it right now. It may take me years to understand why. And So it's really been more like, hey, I'm going to trust that this is all part of God's plan, right? I dealt with a decent amount of survivor's guilt, having done what I did and getting out. And then I dealt with a ton of questioning why I went through everything I went through. And again, the only way I sit here and smile and think about it now is thinking that, okay, maybe this was God just challenging me yet again, right? Maybe he wanted to see if I was going to turn into a little bitch. Maybe he was going to see how I acted, how I let my actions. And so I'm big on my actions over my words, right? So, yeah.
Has this entire experience changed your opinion of the teams?
Yeah, for sure.
How so?
Man, I would have given anything for that team, for the teams, the community, right? I was that guy that they had hook, line, and sinker. I would have done anything, died for them. No questions asked. Easy. Check. Had front, done. Then I get out and I'm like, well, wait a second. This isn't this brotherhood? It seems more like a school of sharks. And if there's blood in the water, they're coming after you. Like, this isn't the brotherhood I remember or was sold, right? Now, that community is the SEAL community, whatever it is. It is whatever it is. I care very little about it now, right? My community that I've gotten reacquainted with are a lot of my favorite operators that I worked with. They've now gotten out, right? And I think we all collectively have a perspective that we respect each other for what we did, but it's not about the SEAL community or about this world. I got the Delta guys I worked with. They're saying the same thing. They're like, fuck the leadership. I'm over it. We're over it, right? We were sent into harm's way by leadership for what, right? We got sent a lot, right? A few of us didn't come back. And that same leadership that arguably left millions of dollars of military equipment in Afghanistan, they've got promoted and retirement and everything. And somehow I have a payment plan. It's hard to process. It's hard to justify in my mind. The only way is knowing that, hey, there's a plan. He's got a plan. I may not understand it right now. Keep the faith.
It's a good way to be, man. It's a good way to be. So what else is in the new book?
The new book is me telling this story. The new book is me venting about this because I haven't. I've kept my mouth very shut and quiet. I've been very private about it. I tried to fight this battle as best I could through the legal system. And when that ran its course, I was like, I've got to tell this story. But then through this story, I don't want it to be a Debbie Downer and woe is me and this is over there just bitching and moaning. I can't have it, right? I try to be very optimistic in shitty situations. Mm-hmm. And so we talked about the 4 F's earlier, right? I learned that from my dad: family, friends, fun, and faith. I sprinkle some of that into the book because I don't want it to come across like it's just some former SEAL bitching and moaning, right? It's some former SEAL who's been through some shit and is going to share a little bit of what helped him out when he was in his darkest times.
What is in there about the AAR?
The AAR of the Bin Laden made?
Yeah.
Only thing I put in there is that there's an audio recording of it. And I mentioned that because that's where my flow of the mission comes from.
Gotcha.
Right. What I saw, what I experienced, and then what I sat through in a debrief, and what I remember hearing on that debrief and what was audio recorded, and I've confirmed with other people what they heard on that radio or on that recording. So that's the only thing I get into, just that there was existence of it, and that's where my version comes from.
And the name of the book is
No Easy Way.
No
right?
Easy Way.
It's a play off No Easy Day because it turns out the day is not long enough, right? You're going to get kicked in the nuts. Life's journey's a little longer than that. It takes more than a day.
Well, we will help you promote it.
And
when it
I'm
comes
not
out.
I'm not using a publisher on this one, right? I used the publisher on the last 2. Guess who kept all their money in the process?
Go figure.
Publishers, literary agent,
Go figure.
Everybody kept their profits except me. So this book, I'm not using a publisher. I'm going as most direct that I can. If people want to help me, they can go to my website, mattbissonette.com, and order a book. And that cuts out all the middlemen, that cuts out all the fluff, that cuts out all the nonsense. And then when the book finally gets reviewed, goes straight to you.
Good for you, man.
So.
Good for you. What are you doing with the YouTube channel?
YouTube channel.